Hi everyone, it's Jill Lancet, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Sydney, Australia, in Greystanes. How is everybody? I hope your week's been going well and your weekend was good. If you want to contact me, you can go here to my email address. I will answer you, I promise. If you want to have a look in my online store, that is the address there. And this is the current host code, which will finish on the 1st of June. And yeah, okay. Any questions you have, email me, put a note in the comments. Let's get started today. I've got this card. It just came to me. I made a box card before, but this one came to me, and I really don't want to show you the prototype because it's ugly. It's ugly as. So we'll just get started and I'll show you the products we're going to be using. This is the new catalogue, of course. Sorry if that's a bit glary. Unfortunately, when you film, you need lighting. So, yeah, you trade one thing off for the other. Okay, so I'm using tiny little scraps. So this would be good to use up some of your scraps. And this is a beautiful new lot of papers. It came in the Bright and Beautiful suite. Let me just get those out of the way. Bright and Beautiful. It's a suite of products, stamp set, dies, these gorgeous papers, and some acetate, I think that's what they call it, acetate. It's gold on one side. Oops. Sorry. Again, not very prepared. And it's got printed designs on it. One side is silver, one side is gold. I haven't even opened it yet. We're not even featuring that today, but that's what comes in the set. And so I'm using a scrap. Look how much I've used out of one 6x6 sheet. Now, it is called the Bright and Beautiful 6x6 Designer Series paper. Look at these beautiful papers. Aren't they gorgeous? Beautiful colours. I mean, I can see so many things happening with this, and there's a lot of papers there. A lot of papers. I think, I'm not sure, but I think you might get about 48. Let's have a look. Yeah, 48 sheets. These are all the colours they go with. Some of them are new. The Azure Afternoon, Berry Burst, Blueberry Bushel, Bubble Bath, which I had terrible trouble saying the other day, Fresh Freesia, Lemon Lime Twist, Lemon Lolly, Lost Lagoon, Misty Moonlight and Pretty Peacock. Actually, that's pretty much all of the new either in colours or... no, they're all the new ink core colours. Huh, just dawned on me. There you go. Anyway, it's called Bright and Beautiful 6x6 Designer Series paper. So that's out of the way. The stamp set that we're going to be using is called Nature's Prints. Now, I've used a couple of other stamp sets, but that will become obvious. I'm using this. This is one of the dies that coordinates with it. I'm going to turn that into a vase. So, yeah, think outside the box, guys. The other stamp set is... where is it? On this page. I'm using Happy Birthday and Best Wishes out of the Artistically Inked stamp set. I really like that font and the big wording on that. And what else? I'm trying to be organised and I'm really not. Okay, there are the papers there, the Bright and Beautiful papers. And what else? Oh, these are not new, iridescent pastel gems. But I thought I'd decorate with that. They come in 3 colours. Calypso, Coral, Balmy, Blue and Gold. But I wouldn't have thought that was gold. But anyway, Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think when you see that. And this tiny, tiny, tiny little punch down here. It's called Best Labels. It was bundled originally with an alphabet stamp set, but now you can buy them separately. So it's this tiny little punch here, and we'll get going and you'll see. This could be a long and involved session, but let's hope not. I've got my coffee right here, so pause it, go and get a coffee, and we'll see how we go. Okay, now, where to start? Where to start? We need... start at the beginning, I guess. We need a piece of soft sea foam, one whole sheet we're going to use, and and we're going to cut this down. Okay, now it's a fun fold. It's going to be a fun fold card. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I love fun folds. Sometimes they look a little bit complicated, but once you see, once somebody walks you through it and you see how it's done, 9 times out of 10, it's not that difficult. So we're going in, well, you're going in blind. I know what I'm doing. And when I say I know what I'm doing, we might have to revise that. Okay, so we're cutting this. This is just one of our A4 sheets. I'm in Australia, so we use the metric measurements. This is A4. And we're going to cut this. So we're making like a tent fold card. So we're cutting this at 10.5. 10.5. Now, I'm not going to score it. Normally I would score it in half and then cut it, but I'm going to be using some of the scraps. So, okay, we're cutting this at 10.5. Keep that piece for scraps. And then we're going to score it at 14.85. Now, I'm pretty sure you can see this. So there's 14. There's 14.5. 6, 7, oops, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. And we're going to score that. Now, we're not going to fold it just yet because we're going to be working on this card. Now, here's the most difficult part, I think. Oh, well, maybe not. Maybe not. We're going to cut this card base at 6.4. Now, I'm going to have to go to the bottom of it. I hope that fits in. Let me just check. No, of course not. Okay. I'm going to go to 6.5. Now, I'm sure you can see this on the bottom here. 6.5. Okay. Now, I want to do it from the bottom because I'm cutting upwards. Okay. So I'm putting my paper in there. 6.5. I'm using centimetres, remember. And I want to cut up 8 centimetres. Now that's going to be tricky. Actually, hang on. Hold your horses, honey. Which way are we going? No, we want to cut 4 centimetres. I am so sorry. So we're going from the top down now. Just disregard all of that. We're going down across for 4 centimetres. 4 centimetres. Okay. Now, we want to go cut from 8 centimetres. So there we go. There's 8 centimetres. So what I do is I bring my blade up. I've got this little notch here. I can check that against 8 centimetres. So I'm going to pop that down there at 8 centimetres. Just double check it. And push the blade and slide it up. So that is now 4 centimetres this way, 6.5 centimetres that way. That's where I got the 6.5 from. So now we're going to do some scoring, but just on this little piece here. So I'm going to put it in this way because it's probably easier to see. And we're going to start with, we're going to do it at every 2 centimetre intervals, okay? So I'm lining up the top here to 2 centimetres, but I'm really only want to score the bottom part. So I only want to go up to the cut edge or down from the cut edge. So I'm at 2 centimetres, pop that down, score. Move that across to 4 centimetres, score, just up to the cut line, across to 6 centimetres, and 8 centimetres. Now, you have this little configuration here. So we've got a cut 8 centimetres long, and we've scored the 4 centimetre side at 2 centimetre intervals all the way up, okay? Now, we want another piece of our scrap soft sea foam. So this is the other piece that I didn't use. And we want to cut that at 6.5 by 9.5 centimetres. So we need this again. So is this 9? Yep, that's nearly 9. So we'll go 6.5 this way. 6.5. We want to cut that by 9.5. So 9.5. And this is kind of like mystery card making for you guys because you have no idea how this is going to turn out. So we have this little piece here. Now we want to score this at 8 centimetres. So I'm lining it up here over here at 8. I'm pushing my piece up against our little ridge there. Scoring, not cutting, scoring. So we're scoring at 8. We're scoring at 6. At 4. And at 2. Now when you get to these small measurements, you can actually hold it from this side. So we're at 2 now. So we have this piece. And we need another scrap that we are going to cut at 8 centimetres. No, 0.8. That is a huge difference. 0.8. So it has to be 4.5 long. So we want 0.8. Now, look, with millimetres, it's very, very easy to size these up. So here's 1 millimetre. There's 0.5 millimetres. So we want to go 2 less than 1. So 1, 2, whichever way you want to count that. Push that up against there. And we're cutting that. It is going to be a very, very, very thin strip. And then we want to cut that at 4.5 centimetres. So 4.5, I'm looking up here, 4.5. And we're cutting that. And then we're going to score that at 1 centimetre intervals. Now look, there's sizes on both sides. So this makes it really easy. So we're at 4.5. We want to score it at 1. So there's 1. We want to score it at 2. 3. And at 4. So we turn that around, we pop it in at 4, and we should have a little edge left over of about 1/2 centimetre. And there we go. I don't know if you can see the scoring on that. That is going to get lost for sure on your desk. So, okay, now we've pretty much got all of the components for the actual card done, but we are going to do some stamping, we're going to do some die cutting. So let's jump straight into that and we'll see what you think of this at the end. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to make, no, I think we'll get all the components done first. Yeah, I think we will. Okay, so, oh, I beg your pardon, I need another piece that is 10 centimetres by 1.5. So we'll get that one done, get that out of the way. I knew this was going to be complicated, but yeah. Okay, so 10 centimetres, is this going to be long enough? 10 centimetres, yep. 10 centimetres by 1.5. 1.5. And we are going to score this one at 3. So 3. Scoring it, not cutting. 3. And then we're moving that over to 4.5. 4.5. Next one is 7.5. 7.5. And then at 9. So we've got all of the bits and pieces that are going on this card now for the time being, okay? Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so we have another piece that's scored at those measurements. So let's do some stamping. Let's get this, all the components out and ready. Now, you need a scrap of Night of Navy. You need some, I've got some Fresh Freesia here. This is one of the new core colours called Lost Lagoon. It's a bluey green colour. I've got some Old Olive. Now, I'm going to cut these particular elements out of both of these because I'm not sure what the colours are going to look like together. We're going to do some stamping and we're going to do some punching. Yes, we are. Where's my little piece? There it is. Okay, so I want to stamp some of these stamps that are from the Nature's Prints stamp. I've already stamped this one in Pretty Peacock. As I said, the prototype is totally different, so I'm playing along with you guys as we go along. So I want to stamp this big one. I want to do that one in Old Olive. So just going to ink this up. I love this. Look, it's like a maidenhair fern. It's a beautiful big fern. And I'm stamping it on the soft sea foam. Okay, so I'm going to stamp it upside down, I think, so that it kind of nestles in there. And we're going to be cutting these out with the dies, so right, fingers crossed, bit of pressure, and let that ink connect with the paper. Lovely. That's turned out lovely. Now, the other stamping I will do, oh, and I want to show you this. Look, my Stampin' Chamois, I cut it in half. I mean, it's seen better days. I cut it in half. This fits so much better on my desk. And then I pop it in this. This is a kid's snack cup. It's got this soft silicone slot in the top. It keeps it moist, keeps it out of the way. So I just thought I'd show you that one. Look online. I think they also have, I've ordered some, so I'll show you when they come in next time. But so there's two. Let's pop this die on here, and they're quite easy to line up. So they just go around the outside. Just be a bit particular and line that up before you cut it. So I usually put some of this removable tape, and I reuse this over and over again until it's unusable. I am the recycle queen, I think. Okay, now the other one we are going to do is this little flower here. And I'm doing that in the fresh freezer, on fresh freezer. So I'm just using a bit of a scrap. Now this was one of the in colours from last year, and they've now made that one of our core colours. So I don't need the whole thing. So I'm just going to stamp that, and then we'll do that cutting. Beautiful, look at that. So we'll pop this on here. Okay. Now you can either fast forward or stick around to the end to see how this card turns out. And God willing it turns out, because, yeah, kind of flying a little bit blind here, even though I've made one. Yeah. All right, so now I'm going to get out my little stamp and cut and emboss machine. And I like to put my silicone mat on my desktop. It just sort of, it doesn't stop it from wriggling around, but it kind of helps a little bit. Now that one's come off, so I'm going to have to redo that. So just bear with me for 2 seconds. Okay. So if you buy one of these little mini stamp and cut and emboss machines, you get everything you need to cut and emboss. And so, and you can buy replacement plates when they get really cut off. I like to turn them around. I like to keep one that's not been cut with, just to keep it tidy. When I buy replacement ones, this one will now become my cutting plate. So up until that point in time, we'll cut that off. Let's be economical about how we fit these on here. So we'll cut that off. And, oh, okay, I don't think we're going to be bothered with that. So we'll put this one in, plate on top, and I'm assuming you saw that. And away we go. Now, they're very easy to crank. This is the wobbly desk. Sorry, guys. It's not the camera, it's the desk. So that's come out the other side. Look at that. Beautiful. And it even cuts out the spaces between them. Look at that. So just get those off. Now, if you don't get these off, they might actually mark what you're cutting next time. So, yeah, make sure you start with clean plates. Now, the other things I wanted to cut out were these. These are the selection of foliage that I have picked out. Our little flower can go in there next. And then I'm going to do the foliage again in the Lost Lagoon because, yeah, I just want to see what colour combination works best. So through we go. And you will get those cracking sounds. And look, my plate has got a crack in it, but it does not stop it from doing its job. So yeah, don't worry about small cracks and things like that. So I want to take these off, and I want to do these in the Lost Lagoon. Anyway, we'll do all of this in a minute. There's another little bit we don't want. Let's pop those on there. Might turn that down a bit, I don't know. There we go. What happened? Oops. Sorry about that. But I do like to have music playing. Okay, so we'll cut these. Let's just call this another video triumph from Jill Lanson. Where if it can go wrong, it will. Okay, now this little thing just folds up like that. Lives on a shelf, out of the way. Very, very convenient. Let's just lift these with this. Okay. Out of the way. Right. Now, we've got all of our little bits and pieces. Now we can start. Oh, I forgot to cut this. Now, this is out of the Bright and the Beautiful paper. And as I said, I'm going to make this into a vase. And this is probably one of the most important pieces. And as I said, let's just call this another day in the life of Jill Lanson. Forget my head if it wasn't screwed on. Okay, so now that's a label, and you'll see how I'm going to transform that into a vase, and I'm going to punch out that little label punch as well, and I'm turning that into a little vase as well. So I hope you're all intrigued enough to stay to the end and see how this turns out. And probably nobody will be more surprised than me. No. So I've got another little scrap of it here. Now I've chosen the specifically the stripes because I want it to go in with the colours that I'm using. So turn your little punch upside down, and this is what I want. I want part of the fresh freesia. If I can fit all three of those colours in, I'll be happy. So let's have a look on this side. No, I think it's going to have to be this side. Okay, we'll just use that. So I want to cut one of those, and I want to cut a piece of scrap as well. So here's a little piece of scrap. Okay, that's everything done now. So we can start to put this thing together. So I'm going to bring him back in the card, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Okay, so first of all, let's fold this over. It is a tent fold card. So just, where is my bone folder? There we go. Using the bone folder, I just want a nice crisp fold on that. And this is the front of the card. So now we're going to fold all these pieces up, and we're going to give them a really good burnish. So when you're doing this, line it up with the side of the card. Sometimes your scoring can be a little bit out, but if you line it up with the side of the card, then you shouldn't have any issues. So I'm just going along and burnishing them, as you can see. And the last little one. Now you don't want this to be out because it'll look a bit funny if it's out. So now we're going to glue that up, and that is going to form one shelf. Now you can use liquid glue, you can use the tear and tape. I like the liquid glue. So the easiest way to do this is to remember that the very bottom one is the one that's going to be glued. Okay, so it's going to be glued like that. So we only want glue on that bottom panel. So, and I hope you can see what I'm doing here. Now you don't want too much. You don't want it to ooze out. So if it starts to run a bit, I just sort of like swiggle around without pushing the sides of the bottle. And now that I've got that on there, the easiest way to glue that is to fold that up and lay it flat. Give it a good squish. You can even, if you can, fit your fit that in there. And that's one of our shelves. Remember, we're making a double shelf. So that's the first of the two shelves. And the card opens like that. Now we're going to make the second shelf. And that's this other piece, this 6 by 9.5 piece. So we're doing the same thing. We're going to be turning these over and giving them a good score. Again, try and be a bit conscious of the fact that you want them to line up. So yeah, just check your straight edges. Otherwise it looks a bit wonky. And you really do need to burnish them with your bone folder to get those really nice, crisp folds. There we go. Now this is going to be glued independently first of all. So we're going to glue it like that. So we only need glue on this little piece here. Oops. So bit of glue again. Don't go crazy with the liquid glue. You don't want this oozing out everywhere, but you do want it to, you do want to make sure that it adheres. So create your box just like that, and then put your little tab on it. And you can do this flattened, and I suggest you do it both ways just to make sure you're getting it in the right spot. Now give that a bit of a push down with your bone folder, and there's our other little shelf. It's essentially a little square tube. And now we're gluing that onto the base of this card. So more liquid glue. Put the glue on where you've got your little join, because then it won't be seen. Okay, and we're going to line that up with the bottom of the front of the card. So you can do it flat like this, make it flat like that, and then line this up with the edge, the bottom edge of the card front. Now you cannot go over this way because it just won't look right. So just make sure you've got it lined up. We're going to press that down as well. And this is the second shelf. Now fold it back that way and then give it a good press this way as well. So there's our little double shelf card. And it stands up very beautifully. Now we need things to go on our shelf. And this is where all of these little bits and pieces are going to come into play. If I can find one of them. I've already lost it. Is that it? That's it. Right, okay. Now, we've got all our components. Now, let's see, what will we do first? I think we might make our little components up while we're in the business of doing that. So this one here is the one that is 10 centimetres by 1.5, and it's scored at 3, 4.5, 7.5, and then 9. And we've got our little tab at the end there. So we're going to fold them all. Again, just make sure they all line up. Give them a nice good burnish with your bone folder. It's a bit fiddly, but I think you'll find that the end card is quite unusual. And if there's a particular person in your life that is card worthy, then you might want to send this to them. So we've got yet another little tube. I'll just do this one. This one is the fiddly one, okay? This one is 4.5 centimetres by 0.8. 0.8, so just a bit over half a centimetre. And then we've scored it at 1, 2, 3, and 4 centimetres. So it's going to make a little square. And it is a bit fiddly, so yeah, be prepared. Sorry with this wibbly wobbly table. Okay. And the last one. Now, I need a coffee. Just bear with me. Cheers. It's really weird making videos because you're essentially sitting in a room by yourself talking to yourself. And yeah, it's really weird when you have like dead silence, as you know, dead air as they call it. Now, tiny little bit of glue just on that little half centimetre or whatever you want to call it. And again, let's fold that like that and fold this piece onto it. Okay. Now, yep, there's a bit of glue squirting out because I put too much. Luckily, I have a cloth. So there we go. So I did it on here because the glue won't stick to this mat, which is really good because if you're just doing it on paper, oops, you can end up stuck to everything. And yeah, I know this firsthand. Okay, so there's our really tiny little cubed square. And we're doing the same with this one. Only glue on that little bit there. Okay. And again, it's sometimes easier just to put it together like that. Give that a second. And there we go. This one is a rectangle, this one's a square. Okay. Now this is the bit where I'm going to be fiddling around, and the first thing I want to do is show you how I made this little vase. So this essentially is a label. It fits some of the sentiments in the Nature's Prints stamp set. If I can get this off, we'll be in business. Now, this is a stripy, so yeah, you choose which edge you want. And we're just going to cut it off at the bottom. So let me think, how would I like this? This is going to sit on this shelf, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that in a minute. So do I want mostly greens at the top or blues? I think I like the blues. So I'm going to cut it off basically where that colour ends, because I want it to look like it's a footed vase. You know, it's got a base on it. So I'm just going to cut that. Oh, look, I'm going to do it with scissors. I don't know where my snips are, so yeah. So I'm just going to cut that straight across there. There we go. So now we've got this shape. And it kind of looks like a vase to me. I don't know about you guys. Now we're going to, where's our other little piece? This is the other little vase. And we need another piece on the back of that one, just to sandwich those flowers between it. So the first thing I wanted to do is to pop out all of these elements and start arranging them. So I've got this one, I've got this one. I've got the old olive, which I may or may not use. I may use all of them. So with these little intricate dies, it's just be very, very careful getting them out. There's our other little one from there. There's that one, and there's all of these ones. So we've got everything out now, and we're going to do some arrangements. Do some arranging. So this large vase is going to have the larger leaves, plants, whatever you want to call them, in it. So this is where it's good to have your mat, your silicone mat handy. So let's see how we're going to arrange these. Now, do I want old olive? Maybe I might want old olive and one Lost Lagoon. Maybe old olive on there. Now, you can take as much time as you want to do this, but you know what? I think that's cool. That's how it's going to go. So I need to just pop a bit of glue on the bottom here. Now it's just a blob of glue. I'm going to put this guy here like this. Now I need another little blob of glue. And I think I'll put a green one going this way. And this beautiful Lost Lagoon. This is a new colour to me. This is before my Stampin' Up time. So we might put him down a bit lower. Down a bit lower like that. So there they go. And now we're going to put our little vase over the top of all of that. I've got glue everywhere, of course. Of course. So we might just turn it slightly. Have it go like that. Excellent. So we'll put some glue on here. And we'll glue that vase on like that. Now while that one's drying, we'll do our other little one over here. Oh, if I can pick it up, there we go. So what I want to do is I'm just going to snip off this flower and the little bud. I'm just doing a bit of creative cutting here. Nobody would even know that was on there. So we want that to come out like that. I think I might actually turn this upside down because then there's a bit of contrast. And then maybe, just maybe, him there, and maybe a little bit of old olive behind them if I can pick it up. Now, this is where you can get a bit creative. And, sorry, was my head in the way then? Sorry. So we might want to just cut that off about there. Pop that over there. And just have that. That looks pretty nice to me. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Put some glue on the back of this. Glue on the back of that. And pop our little flower to the side. Like that. Now, if you've put an arrangement like this together, sometimes you've got to take it all back off again to glue it back together again. So maybe take a photo of it with your phone. Have your phone sitting there and then you can recreate how it was. Because quite often you really can't remember what you were going to do. So, yeah, it's not just me, I hope. So I'm going to put this bit over there like that. Okay, so we'll just pop a bit of glue there. Sit that into the glue. There we go. Now we can pop our little vase over it, like that. Yep. So we'll put a bit of glue on that. Yeah, this is a bit fiddly, this card. I'll admit to that. But I think when you see the end product, I think you'll be quite impressed with it. So let's leave those to dry for a few minutes. Now, the glue does not stick to this, and you can just rub it off when it's dry and start again. So we have this big piece here. Let's work on that. Now we want to glue that onto here. No, we want to go this way. So we want to glue that onto there. And we only want glue on this part here. Okay, this part here. Now what effectively we're going to do is we're going to line this up with the base of the vase, and then this bit will get glued to the shelf and this bit will get glued to the card, so it will stand up like that. Now if you feel as though you need a bit of support there, by all means go ahead and put a bit of a scrap or something behind that. I'll go and do that. I'll do that right now because it feels a little bit top heavy. Let's just see. So yeah, maybe just cut that to a point. Just go so you can't see it from the front. Okay. So we can glue that bit on, and that will just help support it all. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with layers and layers of cards, of cardstock. So we've sandwiched that all now between that. And I'm going to glue this piece on. Now remember, we only want to glue it on this one square, and then that is going to line up with the bottom of the vase, okay? So you might want to replay this, rewind this, and replay it if you decide to make it, because there's a lot of tricky little steps involved. Okay, so lining up the bottom where we've got the glue, I'm just lining that up with the bottom of the vase. Okay. Now I'm going to give that a second to grab, and I'm going to do the same thing with this one here. I've got my other little piece that I punched out, so it's exactly the same shape. I'm going to glue that on the back just for support. That's all this is. It's just to support that, even though it's got that on the background. like the little square, it doesn't hurt to have some support. So we'll just glue that in place. Now, because it's the same colour as the base of the card, etc., 9 times out of 10 you probably won't even notice it if it's not 100%. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with our little square. It's going to go on the base. So we only want to put glue on one panel. So one little panel. And then the base of that is going on the base of our vase. So line it up with the bottom. Just give that a second. Just give that a little second to dry. Now we're almost there. So we can move that out of the way now. We're going to do some stamping on this. Now these are designed to fit in the card in the envelope like that. This one comes down, this one goes up. So I want to put happy birthday across there, and I'm doing that in the Night of Navy. It's a big contrast to the soft sea foam. And I want to put it up. I want to put it up in this corner here. So ink that up. Have a practice go. Lovely. So we want to put that up here in the corner. Now, pardon me if my head gets in the way. Hope that's straight. So right up in the top edge. Give that a minute. Sorry. I never know where the camera lens is on this thing. And there we go. Now, I have this other little stamp here called Best Wishes. I'm going to just clean that because we just know, don't we? We just know that's going to happen. So Best Wishes. Look, 2 seconds into. Never mind. In the Night of Navy is again. Have a little test run. Beautiful. Now, you want to pop that. You want to pop that up. Pop it up because it needs to be underneath that. So that's going to go about there. Best Wishes. That looks pretty good. Overall, the card itself is quite plain, but we have all this busy foliage and things happening. So, yeah, it's good to balance it all out. I mean, you do what you want to do what you like. Now, the other greeting is going to go inside the card. And it's, I didn't forget your birthday, I'm just stretching out the celebration. And that comes from this stamp set here, Something Fancy. So naturally we want to put that up inside the card, but we want to put it up in this part of the card so that it's not revealed. So let's just do that. Okie dokie. Let's move that out of the way. So we want to just check. So about there is where, there and upwards. So let's pop that up there. Of course, you can put this on the back if you want to. Totally up to you. Your card, you put where you want. And I've kept it all in the Night of Navy. I've kept it all together because we're going to be doing something with Night of Navy in a sec that will also tie it all in. So the chamois are really, really good. They clean those stamps really, really well, and sometimes your hands, if you get ink or glue or whatever all over them. So that's gone. That's out of the way now. So here's our card, and we're going to decorate it now. So I've got this little strip of, look, it was left over, and I thought, oh, this needs something. It needs something else. How do I define that this is a shelf? So I just got these strips, and basically I'm just going to glue that on there and then snip it off. And you'll see what I'm talking about in about 2 minutes. So just a bead of glue, like a line of glue, just along that top edge. And it's the one that's going to be the front. Okay, so it's that edge there. And we're just going to glue that on. Okay. Now, where is my little cloth for the glue? Now that's crooked, I can see it's crooked, but the fact that you've got liquid glue, you can wiggle it around to suit. Now, just from the back, I'm just going to snip that off. So line the blade, the top blade of your scissors up along the soft seafoam edge and just snip that off. Okay, so we're going to do it again on this one here. Just a bead of glue, like that. And line this up. I'm just lining it up with the top edge and this edge here. Give that a second. Just give that a second to take. And we're going to chop that off as well. So lining up your top blade with the soft seafoam. Just snip. Okay, we're getting there, we're getting there, we're getting there. I promise you, we're getting there. Okay, so now the glue's dry, hopefully. And we've got our 2 vases, and we need to glue these on. So you can see this configuration here. Now, we don't want any glue on the top. We do want glue there, and we do want glue there. And I'll show you exactly how we're going to do that, okay? So we'll pop the big one in first. So not on the top, on the back. Let's call this the back. Let's call this the back. Let's call this the bottom. Okay, now the bottom is going onto the shelf. So you can flatten that down like that. And if you, no, wrong way, flatten it down like that, right? Now what you need to do is, okay, so we've got our glue there, we've got our glue there. Just holding the top where there's no glue, okay? So I want to line this up and I want to put it in that crease, in that score line there. Okay, so I'm going to put it down like that. And then I'm going to fold the shelf up. Now give that a good minute to stick. Okay, now I've got glue all over me. Yeah, I know you're saying, hang on, that's covering up happy birthday. But once this glue has taken and our little shelf comes down, you'll be able to see it. So we're going to do the same thing with this one here. So we do not want glue. We don't want glue on the top, and glue's oozed out, so this is a bit. Okay, there we go. So we don't want the glue on the top. We want the glue on the back and on the bottom. Okay, so let's put some glue on there, on the back. Just be careful because you may end up gluing this closed. So a bit of glue on the bottom. And on the back. Now we're going to do exactly the same thing. Push that tab down. Now I can see that glue there. It's going to drive me crazy. Sometimes if you get glue like that and you don't want it there, you can get your little embossing buddy powder and cover the glue with embossing powder. Anyway, so we're going to push it down and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line this up against the score line, that score line there. I don't know what all this is. Let's get rid of it. So we're going to line that up there, press that down, and then press our shelf down as well. Now when that pops open, it will have a lovely little vase on the shelf as well. So just give that a second and just check it, and there we go. Now I've got glue everywhere. Where is my eraser? Here it is. There's glue on there. Let's get rid of that. And I can see a bit of glue on there. And that's our card. That is our card made. So this one goes, oh, this one goes down to fit in the envelope. Okay, we need more glue on that. We need more glue on that, I think. Yep, we do. We do. Now you can, of course, use tear and tape. If you wish. Now, we just need some embellishments. So there's our double shelf. There's our double shelf card. And just put a few embellishments on now. I wanted to put one in the middle of the flower. And I just used these ones because they were sort of like go with anything. And I've lost my take your pick tool again. I lose that thing about once a week. So we've got large ones here. We'll put a large one in the flower. Put a large one in the flower. And then we'll just put a couple around, put some around here. We'll put one around, one on the message down here. Small one up there. Maybe another small one down there. And then we need another 3 around the vase on this side. So we'll get a big one. We'll put a big one somewhere here. And I think we'll put a small one there. Small one somewhere here. Maybe there. And another large one up near the sentiment. And that's our card done. Very kind of complicated, but I think a really lovely, different card. So when it stands, you've got 2 vases of flowers on a shelf. And I'm pretty pleased with the way that's turned out. Now, that just defines that that's a shelf. I think it just adds to it. But let me know what you think in the comments. Now, look, I've got glue everywhere. So, yeah. There's more on there too. Anyway, tell me what you think. I'll leave, oh, that's glued. I'll leave this here just for a second and I'll just go through it again, okay? So we need our card base, which is 10.5, A4 cut in half at 10.5 and then scored at 14.85. We've used these scraps here. So we've got some Old Olive, Lost Lagoon, some Fresh Freesia and some Night of Navy, and of course some soft sea foam for these things here. The inks I've used Fresh Freesia on the flower, the Night of Navy, the Old Olive for stamping that, and the Pretty Peacock for stamping that one. I used the Nature's Prints stamp set for the beautiful foliage. We used the greetings from the Artistically Inked. So we've got happy birthday and best wishes. And for the inside of the card, I used the message from Something Fancy. I didn't forget your birthday. I'm just stretching out the celebration. So obviously you can say to them, I didn't miss your birthday. It just took me so long to make this gorgeous card because it's very complicated. Yeah, that's a good excuse. So then we just embellished it with those. But yeah, do let me know what you think about that. I'm trying to think of some really nice different fun fold cards. So yeah, let me know what you think. So when you're popping it in the envelope, this one goes up, this one goes down, and it will fit into the envelope. Okay, if you put that one up, it might be a bit long, so down and up. Okay, thank you so much. Don't forget, if you have any questions, email me. Here, you can go to my online store if you want to purchase any of those items. This is the current host code, and please follow me on Facebook, also on YouTube, and like and subscribe to me on YouTube, and you will receive a notification every time I upload something. So I hope you enjoyed that one. I mean, yeah, it really got my brain going, trying to work that out, and that's what I love about this. That's what I love about this. So it's longer than normal, but you can fast forward through everything. So yeah, please enjoy that. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.